It was November 3rd, 2013 that I was first added to Wiki staff in any capacity moderating the subreddit. It had 10,408 subscribers. Today, there are 421,346 subscribers to our SCP. It is the most popular it has ever been, and not a person in there knows how to make a meme. Let me tell you something, if you didn't know, old folks like to say things wrong, just to see young kids get wound up. And if you don't believe me, I challenge you to a game of fork knife. Well, this seems like an outstanding opportunity to ask, how do you do, fellow kids? This is SCP Cafe, June 15th, 2020. I'm your host, Blue Soul, SCP Wiki Administrator, Chat Administrator, Technical Team Co-Captain, Author, Loving Husband, Dog Petter, Cologne Aficionado, Tottenham Hotspur Supporter, Scuttle Overlord, and Wiki Dork Commander. So yesterday, on the 14th, there were 5 articles surviving, 3 tales, and 2 SCPs, and it's just crazy to consider that is the new normal, that, I'm consistently seeing 5 articles surviving every day. Doing the old weekly recap, if I had 35 articles to bull my way through every week, oh my god, it would literally never happen. That's so much to try and cram into a Wednesday. So suffice it to say, I'm happy with the format so far. I know it hasn't been quite every day. It hasn't been quite what I've hoped for, but I'm trying to stay committed to the goals and keep knocking them out. After today's daily recap, there will be a Nerd Stuff episode talking about the story so far as it relates to WikiDork, or do we want to call it Project Foundation? I don't know. That's a big title. It might be, though, and we'll be talking about it in the following episode, Nerd Stuff. Anyway, let's talk about the articles for a little while. Let us begin with a Herman Fuller GOI format. This is Herman Fuller Presents Peter the Perplexing Piper. This is done in the style of, we found these documents from the Wanderer's Library, and what we have is sort of a mixed media piece. We've got some artwork, and we've got a little one-page ripped out of a book on Herman Fuller's Menagerie, and altogether, I like the idea, but I'm not in love with the execution. When we have this image, this artwork done that's supposed to be like a flyer to go, raise interest in seeing the freak show, we have what's very clearly a digital image, but it has little tears on it as though, this is stuff done to the paper later on. It doesn't quite land what I think I would rather do, given that we are the Foundation and these things are usually pretty, pretty dry, not, you're not always going to get the full resolution experience. Print this thing out, print it out on letter, and then tear it, burn it, do a little something, make it creative, and then take a picture of that. You can really cheap out with getting that thing to look right. You can take a picture, you can take a white t-shirt and put your paper against that and take a picture and just have that white t-shirt be your backdrop, and you'll end up with it looking not half bad. The white will, do you a lot of favors, actually. Just a consideration, because when, it does sort of break immersion a little bit when you've got this very obviously artificially induced tearing effect on a digital image. Then we have this little one-pager pulled from a publication that, tells a bit of a story that kind of explains how this act worked. Overall, with this piece, I'm not super enthused. It's not bad, but I'm not, I'm not super excited about it either. and that for me is like the epitome of a no vote. Like, there's nothing wrong, but I don't think it landed with me, and that's kind of my my case with this one, was a no vote of 0. Moving on, we have another tale titled Lizzy, the Big Weird Dog. This is a first-timer piece by an author named Lovataar. I can't sufficiently express to you how dangerous it is to try and write in 2020 a tale with 682 being cross-tested with another SCP while Clef and Kondraki look on. But it actually worked. Isn't that weird? Like, this was actually really cute. I actually really enjoyed this tale. I don't really know if the inclusion of Clef and Kondraki really bought us much. Like, it's fun, it adds a little bit of length to it, but overall it's like it probably could have, I don't know, I think it would have been okay without it. It would have been a shorter story, and there's not so much of a punch here that it would really hurt for being shorter. But it's fine. This was fun, it was cute, I smiled. That's, that's good enough. How about a +1? I'll give it a +1. It is still just chilling at +9, so we don't have any real discussion going on. If I look at the breakdown here, it's mostly positive. It looks like, what's that, 12 up to 3 down, or 13 up to 4 down, something like that. It just hasn't had a ton of eyes at this point, but no discussion on it either, and that's always a shame. Always encourage people, speak your mind on these. If you do read them, let people know how you actually felt about it in the comments, if you can. Moving on, there is a Sarkic tale titled Of Lovataar and the Throne. This is by Malice Graves. I am really tempted to just pass the buck on this entirely. I was thinking about this. The whole Sarkic thing has really never landed with me, and I think only today I really made the connection as to why that is. It's because so much of it goes so far down a rabbit hole that is so disconnected from the rest of the Foundation universe that it's not the sort of thing I'm actually into. So it makes it difficult to discuss, right? This is not something that I think it's ever really going to be up my alley, even when I see really well done work. And this is certainly well done. It's just not something that I think is ever really going to get my attention or hold it. So this is, that said, this isn't really my kind of tale to review. And maybe this is something, it's I don't know if you can ever say, well, I'll just train myself, I'll just teach myself to enjoy this thing, and then I can talk about it better. I don't know if I can get there. I can try, but it won't be today. So for now, this is a no vote, and I will leave it up to people that are more into the Sarkic lore to give Of Lovataar and the Throne a read. Moving on now, SCP-5286. This is titled Autophagia. This is by Izth, I-S-Z-T-H. This is a first-timer piece. This one is, how do I feel about this thing? It's got a really interesting image. It's eye-catching. It feels old school, but not in always the best of ways. We have some body horror that is, it's very obviously put in to try to get you, and sometimes that works better than others. This one didn't work quite as well as some other attempts of that I've seen. That said, The tone here is, for the most part, pretty good. We have one thing where we have this note at the end of the procedures that I don't think we sufficiently elaborated on to bother with its inclusion. It could have made a really interesting follow-up. And the other thing that kind of bugged me is our recovery log. We have procedures that don't really specify much in the way of danger of these sub instances, these -1s, but in our recovery log, it's like, we have MTF agents getting mulched by these little guys, and then we never really talk about it again, and that was kind of jarring too. So those two things put together, and overall just being like, it's okay, it's not great, it's not outstanding. The ending of it didn't really do anything at all for me. This is also a 0. I would have liked to have seen. I'm not sure. I think I would have liked to have seen more work, more sandboxing, more discussion, just to find those last little bits that would have taken this from okay to a really solid piece. All right, let's get this last one over with. It's SCP-5950. It's by Dr. Akimoto, so blame him, because it's titled Butt Buddies Forever. I asked him why, and he replied, and I quote, "I'm mostly trying to get you to say anal I on cafe." Fuck you, man. I don't know where you get off thinking you have the right, the ability to make me feel bad about butthole squids, to feel sad about them for any reason ever. And I'm not. I don't feel bad, so it didn't work. I don't know why this piece is. I don't know what it was trying to tell me. All right, so that's enough. I guess I have to rate this son of a bitch, don't I? God damn it. We're gonna go with -1 for the image, -1 for butthole squid, +3 for organic jet propulsion to enter a human host's rectum. +1. Now, I'm going to admit, I looked ahead a little bit because one of the titles from today caught my eye. So I'm going to be talking about it tomorrow. It is really good. But we will talk about that tomorrow. Before I get out of here, I want to thank Zach and Benjamin, both who placed orders, both of which are in the mail and on their way. As a reminder, if you didn't know, if you're just sort of getting caught up on what Cafe is, there is a store at store.scp.cafe. There you can make purchases that do directly support the wiki, the artists, and the environment. I do my very best to ensure that any t-shirt orders are as free from dog hair as I can possibly manage with this absolute fur beast that lives in my house. I try, I really do, but it's a lot. There's some cool stuff. I need to actually finish making the new nine-tailed fox design on the new t-shirt material, so I can show that off, because I think it's going to be really, really comfortable. Anyway, stick around. We'll be talking nerd stuff in the next episode. There will be no SCP discussion in that episode, so tune in if you want. If you don't, that's cool. I certainly understand. Until we meet again, keep reading, keep writing, and goodbye, fellow kids.